Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. Another great edition of Bring It in the House podcast show where we spotlight musicians, entertainers, artists, and leaders. Get your meal. Another fantastic meal for you tonight. She is founder and president of Change One. This young lady is on the ground. When they say boots on the ground, this is her. Let's give it up for Miss Courtney Jones out of Austin, Texas. Woo!
Thank you so much for having me today. I truly appreciate it.
So good to have you on the show, Courtney. Thank you so much for stopping by. We like to start the show by letting you tell us, where are you from, your native town, and your alma mater.
Yes, well, thank you so much for having me today. I truly appreciate it. So, I'm originally from Dallas, Texas. That is where I am from, D-Town.
Town.
And I didn't want to go to school too far from home, so I ended up going to Texas A&M Commerce in East Texas. So that's where I went for undergrad, and then for grad school, I moved to Austin and ended up going to Texas State University to get my master's.
Oh, wow. What did you get your master's in?
I got my undergrad and my master's in social work.
Awesome. Oh, so you are devoted. You're devoted. That is so good.
Yes.
That is great. Oh my gosh. So you are founder, president of Change One organization, and you began advocating for youth in the foster care system since 2006?
Yes. I've been advocating for young people for a very long time. I was a product of the foster care system myself, and so that's what led me to want to advocate for young people.
Oh my God. Well, congratulations on all your success. Now, Change One is a 501c3 nonprofit organization.
Mm-hmm.
Please share with us what the essence of the organization is and what holding that type of status, 501c3, that's huge. Holding that type of federal status, what does all of that mean?
Yes. Well, thank you for even asking about what does Change One mean. The essence of Change One is about empowerment, healing, transformation, and just systems change altogether. We support young people that are coming from the foster care system that are aging out into society. So what that means is that they didn't get adopted. They did not reunify with their biological family. So at 18 and or 21, they then have to navigate adulthood. And so our goal is for young people to not have to navigate adulthood on their own. So we help them with advocating for themselves, giving them those tools for their tool belt. And we support them directly, helping them to understand they are the drivers and we are just here on the sidelines as their cheerleader or as their coach or as a mentor or a guider through, trying to improve their life.
Oh, that's huge. That is really huge. Yes. We need more of that. I was so impressed when I went to your website. Guys, please, by the way, check out her website. Go to change1.org and you can read all about, go to the about section and just get educated on the movement this young lady is doing. It is so needed. A lot of things we a lot of times take for granted, and you really need to get up on this right here because I'm like, oh my gosh, she just zoomed in and went to work, and that is so commendable. I'm so glad you're here on the show. When I was visiting your website, I saw a list of wins for your organization. When I say wins, meaning, or other organizations partnering with you. How amazing. In your first annual foster care awareness event was called the Crawfish of Change in 2016. So please elaborate on that with us or for us.
Yeah, so when I first started Change One, I started it in 2014. I did not have a 501c3 at that time. I just felt like God said, do the work and I will guide you. And I told God that, I would be his hands and his feet each and every day and that I would be obedient and I would listen to him. But I was like, hold up, God, how are people going to support the work? And I don't have a 501c3. And God said, I've called you to do great things and people will support. And so Crawfish for Change was a way for me to raise money and to raise awareness around transition age youth. And so in Austin, people love some crawfish. And so I wanted to combine the love of crawfish in our city along with awareness of what young people are experiencing and going through. And then we did it in the month of May for Foster Care Awareness Month. And I really enjoyed that event because a lot of times people don't understand why kids come into foster care. They don't understand what happens to them when they age out of foster care. And so it gave us a way to help people in the community know how they can support the population. So yeah, God told me to do the work and to be his hands and his feet. And I was just thinking, okay, God, how's people going to support me if I don't have a 501c3? But people did support. And so one of the first things that I did with my nonprofit was host a Thanksgiving celebration. And I wanted to figure out how could I scale, how could I, provide Thanksgiving joy to many more people. And so
Mhm.
I knew that everybody in Austin loves crawfish. And so I wanted to marry the love of crawfish in our city with also building awareness about foster care. And so my board members at the time owned Guero's Taco Bar. And so they allowed us to use the garden area. And so it is one of the main attractions in the Austin area. People come from all over, and so we got to build awareness of like why do kids come into foster care, what happens to them in foster care, and ultimately if they don't get adopted, what happens to them. And so I enjoy doing Crawfish for Change. One, because we raise money for our Thanksgiving event, and two, we just built awareness to people that were in our local city but visitors of the Austin area. And so a lot of times people just didn't know that they can adopt young people right here in America for free. A lot of people did not know that they can become a respite care provider, and that's just like a babysitter to give a foster parent a break. They didn't know. So there were a lot of things that just the community didn't know. But yeah, Crawfish for Change was one of our first fundraisers to help us build our capacity with Change One.
That is so good. That's so educational. I didn't even know about, what do you call that second one where you just kind of like babysit for a foster parent? What do you call that?
Oh, yeah, it's called a respite care provider.
Respite.
So for individuals that are like, I don't think I can foster, but I do want to be involved in some form or fashion, they can go to and Google a local child placing agency and
Uh-huh.
sign up to be a respite care provider with a local child placing agency. So some child placing agencies that are out there is Baptist Children Family Services. One of the child placing agencies that I went through to foster and adopt was a World for Children, and they were an amazing child placing agency. So yes, I would say Google child placing agencies, ask them about being a respite care provider. It's something that I think when I was in foster care, it really impacted me a lot. I stayed in a lot of white foster homes. I stayed in a lot of foster homes in rural cities. And
Uh-huh.
so I specifically remember my respite care provider. Her name was Debbie. And Debbie was everything to me. She would come every Tuesday and every Thursday to give my foster parents a break. And she was someone that looked like me. And so that meant a lot for me to see someone that looked like me because I was used to being in spaces that didn't look like me. And so, I struggled with my identity, I struggled with my hair. And being in rural towns, like you just don't have access to like hair care products and things like that. And my respite care provider saw my struggle. And that's something that we bonded over was hair. And like she made me feel beautiful and she made me feel good about my hair and who I was. And so people can play a small role. It doesn't have to be as big as adoption or being a foster parent.
That's very touching. That's very touching, Courtney. Yeah. Hmm. Uh, these are, just some of the things in a community that we just don't know about. We're just not aware.
Hmm.
We're just not aware of. Um, so I appreciate you sharing that with me. As a foster parent, do they receive, or as far as receive funds or funding to help with the children that you take care of?
Yeah, so foster parents, one of the things that I try to tell people, foster care is temporary. Foster care is not permanent. When individuals sign up to be a foster parent, it's about
Mhm.
standing in the gap. It's about hoping and praying and wishing that the parent does what they need to do to reunify with their child. So, foster care is a temporary situation where people are making sure that the safety and well-being of the child is taken care of. And that's
Mhm.
something that I want everybody to know, because sometimes people go into becoming a foster parent maybe because they can't have their own children, or
Yes.
maybe some people go into foster care because they felt like they've been led and called to. And I just think that it's important for everyone to know that if you are considering being a foster parent, just know that you're signing up to stand in the gap. And
Okay.
you're signing up because you truly believe in family. You
Yeah.
truly believe that these kids deserve love and comfort while their parent is getting it together, and that they deserve that. They deserve community to stand in the gap for them. And
Mhm.
so, to answer your question about financial, there is a financial piece where individuals can receive compensation for taking care of someone else's child. And sometimes, people go into being a foster parent for good reasons, and sometimes people do not go into it for good reasons. And so I would most definitely say, check your reasoning if you're deciding to become a foster parent.
Yeah, that's good advice. You are so right, Courtney. Thank you so much for sharing that information with us. And it is so important, as you said, to check your heart, to make sure your motives are in the right place, because these are children who are already, somewhat broken, and, they need the love. And these are some of the informative years, I'm presuming, right? The
Yeah.
Yeah, informative years of their lives, and they really need a strong or positive role model in their lives at this time. So
Hmm.
if
Yep.
you're yeah, so this is an amazing program. I can't say that enough. I can't say it enough.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I truly appreciate it. I started Change One. Our actual name is Change One Mind, Change One Life. And the whole reason why I call it Change One Mind, Change One Life is because I wanted to change the mindset of the young person we serve in order
Mhm.
to change their life. And I also wanted to change the mindset of the community and how they view young people impacted by foster care in order to change their life. Because if people are ill informed of why kids come into foster care, then they don't even know how they can serve and what they can do. And that's the number one thing that I always hear the community say is like, how can I be involved? I didn't know how to be involved. And that is the whole point of May being Foster Care Awareness Month, letting people know how they can get involved. Last year, we did a thing called the $3 show, where we had music entertainers come and share their love for music, but we were also able to share, the need of people being impacted by the foster care system and how the community can play a role. So every May, we're doing something different in order to bring awareness, like you said earlier, Crawfish for Change, our $3 show, and so we welcome community support in helping us build awareness.
Yes, yes. And you've built some strong partners. I saw on your website that you guys worked with Dell Technologies. Yeah, no,
Yes.
yeah, you partnered with them in 2021, right, for the
Mm-hmm.
virtual job preparedness series for young adults impacted by the
Mm-hmm.
foster care system. So tell us a little bit about that experience and what that was like for you.
Yeah, so we have a program called Pathways to Power, and that is our workforce initiative program where we help young people not only get prepared for the workforce, but we really empower them along the way. Not just this, hey, get your resume done, because workforce is more than just resume. Workforce is about your identity, how you're going to show up, it's about character, it's about perseverance, and how are you going to balance and navigate real life on top of work, and how are you not going to let your past determine your future, because a lot of times when you have outside factors going on, young people expect that in the workforce your employer is supposed to care.
Hmm.
And some employers do care, but we're
Hmm.
trying to prepare young people for a reality check. You know, when you are coming into the workforce world, what are the common expectations and how do you show up the best version of yourself? And that's what Pathways to Power is all about. And one of our first partners was Dale to help us really help young people to show up in the best version of themselves. And so I really appreciate Dell for that. And recently we just partnered with the city of Austin, where the city of Austin employees came in and we did kind of like a, like it was really cool. So basically, we had different stations, workforce stations, and then young people were able to like for 30 minutes go to each station, and it was really informative for the young people because not only are they like learning, but they're like enacting what they're learning, like role playing, being able to ask questions. It was very interactive, and I just really love Pathways to Power because it is a community effort. We are partnering with different individuals. Like the one that we did in December was a healing resource fair. So we did that with three other partners, and
Hmm.
like the young people got to not only like do mock interviewing, but they were able to actually go to our healing resource area and do meditation if they wanted to. We had the sound bowls, and we had where they can make like bath bombs, and so it's like it was interactive and healing, knowing that like it can be traumatic sometimes going into a work environment that you've never been in before. And so
Hmm.
sometimes you need to be healed and centered from your
Hmm.
past work experiences. And then
Sure.
also, if you've never even worked before, like what is it to expect in this work environment? And so that all falls under Pathways to Power. And we have a summer youth employment program where we partner with the county and the city, where we employ young people between the ages of 14 and 17 to make sure that they're ready for the workforce after they leave their internship with us.
That is truly amazing. How do you guys come up with these concepts?
One of the ways that we come up with the concepts is the fact that like I'm an individual with lived experience, and I remember being in foster care and understanding that like work was a privilege, it was not a necessity. And so with Change One, we do systems reform work and we also do direct service, and a part of our systems reform work is it is driven by lived experience. It's driven by individuals that have experienced not just me, but other individuals that are saying, like, I wasn't prepared to work, or I don't like, I get a lot of calls from young people about, like, hey, I'm filling out my W-9. What do I do? Or, hey, I'm doing my elections. What do I select, one or zero? Just things of that sort that they like really need someone to like walk them through it.
True.
And so I'm really about upstream versus downstream, and how can we like prepare young people versus like once they're in it, like they're trying to figure it out. And we're all for helping them figure it out. But I think we can also, as someone that has gone through our first job, we can reach back in and remember what it felt like to, get that first job, and what it felt like to
Mhm.
even keep that first job, and how we could like help young people with their success and their employment.
Yeah, prep them
Mhm.
for success.
Mhm.
That's what I think that's where we may, as a society, may have failed. in previous years of not, setting the younger generation up for success. Because sometimes when you get on the job, you hear that term, set you for success, but you're already in there and you didn't prep before you got there. So I really like that you are putting something in place to help them prepare before they land the role. That is so
Yes,
yeah.
yes. So, our program is all about not being judgmental.
Mm-hmm.
It's really about coaching. It's really about listening and helping them get to the other side of it and being able to make mistakes and learn from those mistakes. I think that I have witnessed as a social worker that adults have this thing called adultism, and
Yeah.
that they feel like superior, and they feel like young people are not equipped, or young people don't know. But
No.
young people are very brilliant and bright,
Yes.
and
Yes.
they know a lot, and we can learn a lot from young people. But we
Mm-hmm.
have to make sure that we can all coexist together. And
Exactly.
so a part of Change One is helping adults and young people be able to bridge that gap, and,
Mm-hmm.
and understanding, what does true youth adult partnership look like, and
Mm-hmm.
how could we coexist to produce better outcomes. And so it starts with all of our programming. It starts with lived experience and listening to those with lived experience, and
Mm-hmm.
knowing that they have value just as much as the other person that is on the other side of the program.
That's true. That is so true. Oh my gosh. And these are some of the other, I looked at your website, multiple organizations you've worked with: Glimmer Austin, Candlelight Ranch, Mission Capital, Texas Center for Child and Family Studies, and Monarch Family Services, just to name a few. How difficult was it to make those connections and gain their commitment? If there was any challenge at all?
Yeah, so that's a wonderful question. How difficult is it to build relationships and gain trust? I feel like I have worked very hard on my character and who I am and my mission and what I've been called to do. And I feel that like God has just created alignment for me in many of those areas. And I think that with me creating Change One and creating a model that people can buy into is one of the ways in which I'm able to do this work, because I can help people to see that like what I'm passionate about is in alignment with what you're passionate about. It's just a different population. If you are interested in supporting and helping youth, I'm interested in supporting and helping youth, but particularly those that have been impacted by foster care. So I try to help other people see the alignment. Even if they don't see it initially, I try to help them see where it is, and then try to figure out how we can better support one another. And it's because as a small Black-led nonprofit, unfortunately, we don't get the same resources as everybody else. And that's just the reality. And so instead of me being like, whoa, me, I don't have the resources, I'm like, how can we come together? How
Yeah.
can we be a village? How
Yeah.
can how can we cross work with one another? And that's
Mhm.
where all of those relationships came in at. And also, I'm so thankful for like Glimmer. They were one of my first investors into Change One, and they saw something in my company. And I'm very, very thankful for their investment, because it allowed it to take it off my shoulders, and it allowed me to scale, and it allowed me to be able to provide more services to other people, by people investing in the vision of Change One.
Yes. Yes. They could see it. They could see your vision and where you're going or trying to go. And they wanted to help you get there.
Mm-hmm.
What can we do to aid this, transition, or to help you,
Mm-hmm.
get to that
Yeah.
next level? Yeah. So that's a beautiful thing. When you have something to offer
Mm-hmm.
that others can relate to, it automatically, as you say, I'm piggybacking on what you said, it automatically opens doors. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, with God in front.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, God is everything. One of the things that I didn't publicly say for a very long time. It was one because I was ashamed that when I aged out of foster care, I ended up going from the foster care system to the incarceration system. I graduated in May, and then I was locked up in October, facing two felonies and a misdemeanor. And so I had asked God, if I get out of this situation, I promise I will be your hands and your feet. And God protected me. And that's one thing that I am very thankful of, because I know that not everyone is fortunate as I am to have walked away from that situation and to be able to have a second chance. And so I've taken my second chance very seriously. And I have devoted my life to helping children, youth, and families impacted by child welfare, and to let them know that they are seen, they're heard, and they are valued, and that their life has matter and meaning. Because I know that God, He sent me to say that, because I didn't at one point feel like my life had meaning, but I know that God brought me through every single thing that I went through so that I can be a testament to others that He is still the ruler, He is still in control, and that He has the last word despite what we see in front of us. Like, a lot of people thought that, like, I would be, pregnant, incarcerated, homeless, all of these things. Yes, I fell into some of those statistics, but I made an active choice to follow Christ. And I made an active choice to make better decisions and to know that, like, I am not a victim. I'm victorious in everything I do, even if it's hard, even on my hard days. I'm victorious in everything that I do because I've been called by God Himself. So, yeah.
Do you have a family of your own, a husband or children of your own?
I do. I have two beautiful children. They are 12 and 13, and I can't believe how much they have grown. And I am such a blessed individual to be a mother to them. One of the things that I realized after aging out of foster care is that a lot of trauma had happened. And I had told God, I was like, I'm not having no children. I don't want no children. And the whole reasoning was trauma. I just didn't want to give CPS an opportunity to take my children from me. That's how much trauma CPS had imposed on me, that the point that I made a decision not to have kids. And God said, oh no, I have the last say. And so God blessed me with adopting my two cousins from foster care. And it was a blessing. I didn't go into it wanting to adopt. I went into it because foster care is what? Temporary. It's not
temporary,
permanent.
yeah.
Yeah, so I was going to stand in the gap. That was what I thought I was called to do, is to stand in the gap. But God called me to adopt. And so me and my ex adopted at the time. And we co-parent our two beautiful children. And they are loved, and they know that they are called to do great things as well. And so I am thankful that God entrusted in me to be their mother, because God showed me that He can take the most broken individuals and make something so beautiful. I was so broken, but I went through my own healing journey, and God showed me that, like, just because of my brokenness doesn't mean that I'm incapable of healing and loving. Because I thought that for a very long time. And I've had to work really, really hard to be the mother that I am today to my children. But I wouldn't have it any other way.
Oh, that's so beautiful. That's such a beautiful story. Are you able to see your own success? Can you see it? And if so, are you enjoying this, the journey? Are you enjoying it?
Yes, I'm able to see my own success. One of the things that I know is I used to be very, very hard on myself, and I had to learn to sit back and look at the small wins, and I had to sit back and look at the big wins as well, and to
Mm-hmm.
know that every day that I wake up and I decide to continue to keep doing change one, that that is a win within itself. And so I God sees to amaze me what He does through me,
Yeah.
because I've been able to do so much with so little. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, God, I know that you are only helping me to lay the foundation, because if I've been able to do all of this with so little,
Yeah. Yeah.
when God does really
Uh-huh.
help,
Mm-hmm.
we got to change some, we're going to change more lives than what we've
Mm-hmm.
already changed. And so
Yeah.
I'm happy that I had to go through the trenches. I'm
Mm-hmm.
happy that I had to shed the tears. I'm happy that I've had to go through the frustrations, the betrayal, the confusion, the learning, so that I
Mm-hmm.
can get to right where I am today. And so
Mm-hmm.
all the time, every time I want to quit and I decide not to quit, I'm so thankful, because God has brought me through, and He's like, girl, I'm not done with you yet.
Not yet. Not yet. Oh, he is not. This is so beautiful. Oh my gosh. Anything else you want to share? I know you got the event coming up this fall, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So, because we are at a time where young people are needing us more than ever, because we want to stand in the gap, we are hosting a community wide event called Fueling Futures. And what we're coming to do is to gather as a community to understand that the
Mhm.
life of a kid that has been abused and neglected is important too. Their
Mhm.
future, their success is standing on our shoulders. And so that means we have to come together, one, for us to be able to understand the need,
Mhm.
and two, for us to be able to do something about the need,
Mhm.
and three, being able to join together so that we know that we're not alone in this movement of change, and we can change one. That's all we have to do, is change one. So I'm encouraging people to sign up for our Fueling Futures event, so that we can come together as a community and show these young people they are valued and not forgotten.
Not forgotten. That is such a beautiful thing. Any shout outs before we go, Courtney?
Yes, I just want to say thank you to all of the people that have ever invested in Change One. Thank you for those that have volunteered for Change One. We have been a volunteer led organization for many years, and I could not do this without the volunteers. And thank you for the community partners that believe in the work that we're doing at Change One, because again, this work cannot be done in isolation. I am very thankful, and I'm thankful for the future investors, the future partners, and the future movement makers, and the young people that honestly trust us as well, because trust we don't take lightly. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And also, the last thing I want to say is, if you feel as if you don't see yourself in society and in this world, I have a book called Angels Brave Leap, A Tale of Resilience. And every time you choose to wake up, you are brave. And I want you to be able to grab one of those books so that you can see yourself throughout the journey, and that you can make it out on the other side too.
Oh my God. And it's called what? Repeat that title.
It's called Angels Brave Leap, A Tale of Resilience.
And that's on Amazon and wherever
It's
books
on
are sold.
Amazon.
Yeah.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah. That is so good. I'm gonna have to check that out. Oh my gosh. Maybe I can see you one day. You give me an autograph copy.
Yes, yes. Oh, and I'm so super excited that I'm going to be a part of the Black Book Festival coming up. And it'll be my first time ever being a part of the Black Book Festival. So I'll be able to share it with our community then.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank
Congratulations.
you.
Oh, we've had so much fun here. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first from, of course, the beautiful founder and president of Change One. Please go to the website, change1.org, and find out more how you can get involved, volunteer and just keep this movement going. It is a great cause. And we'll see you guys back here next time on Bring It in the House. Thank you.